All right, everyone. So we just got talking about this week's slate of games. As we have said, if anything, this is the apple picking weekend. But right now, for the vibe check parlay, folks, we have a special guest, the man with the brain cells that are actually involved in this show, the only man who has managed to be consistently winning. He is 4-0 when it comes to his player props since the inception of our program. Mr. Jared Watson. Let's clap it up. Come on now. We got to clap it up for the guy.
Hey, it's good
Jared,
to be on camera, not in person, but it's good to be, live with the boys. I love it.
Jared, you were on at one point, but that was
Mhm.
when we were still figuring out the crappy audio. So I'm glad that the viewers get to see your beautiful smiling face for this. Jared, since this is the first that the 15 subscribers on our channel, Kev, am I wrong? Am I off there?
35 subscribers.
Wow. Look
Let's
at us.
go.
Since this is the first time our 35 subscribers are getting introduced to you, I want to ask you a few questions. You good with that?
Let's get into it.
All right, let's get into it, man. So, Jared, the one thing I have to know, you are very much a sniper when it comes to making your picks, like gambling. And I know that me and Kev both come at it like with the shotgun mentality. So I want to just kind of peek into your mind. When you're looking at the props, what is it that is in your decision-making process for when you're picking these guys?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I know when I first came on, um, I talked about how I watch a lot of football, right? And I have over a long period of time. I think
Yep.
since the Steelers' first Super Bowl that I really remember, 2007, 2008, or whatever.
Against the Cardinals.
Yeah, exactly. This Antonio Holmes reception. I've been pretty locked into football, and so I feel like there are interesting players that I've found over the years that I think I can underwrite and predict better than Vegas can.
I like that.
Um, and so it's like players who usually aren't on the biggest teams because I feel like those have the most eyes on them, and Vegas has a pretty good read on. But a lot of times it's like the backup tight ends, the backup running backs. An injury happens, someone's thrust into the starting position.
Yep.
And Vegas doesn't really know how to underwrite it. So there's like a pool of players which I feel like I have a pretty good read on, and each week I'll usually check the props for those players and see if they make sense to me. If they
Okay.
don't, that's generally when I'll put a
You're
bet down.
striking me as like you're going to the player props and like there's a little arrow that allows you to extend it down to the other players. That's what you're doing when you make the picks, right?
I love a backup tight end like over 50 yards and a touchdown parlay. I love that's like one of my classics.
Keep doing it, man. Like I said, you're 4-0, but you did kind of allude to it that you are a Steelers fan. On this podcast, we have an Eagles fan and by default a Commanders fan. So I have to ask you a couple questions. First of all,
Let's go.
the retirement bowl that just happened.
The Unk Bowl.
The Unk Bowl, yes. What is your confidence level at right now with Mr. Ayahuasca man himself, Aaron Rodgers?
It's high. I mean, the offense isn't the problem, right?
Nope.
I mean, Rodgers looked great, and I know we're like a lot of Steelers fans are hoping that we trade for a wide receiver. I mean, the room is pretty thin outside of DK Metcalf, but really, like the offense is humming. It's just the defense that is super unpredictable and always has been under Tomlin.
And it's funny you say that because as I was watching you guys playing against the Bengals, I remembered like all the names that were on the defense. I'm like, damn, I actually know a lot of players.
It's the highest paid defense in the league, I believe. If not first,
because
it's
you
top
guys
three.
got, well, obviously TJ Watt, you got Cam Hayward, and you got Jalen Ramsey, right? Am I correct?
Patrick Queen's a pretty expensive middle linebacker.
That being said,
players.
are you scared of losing any of those guys after like contract negotiations and stuff? I'm assuming Jalen Ramsey is only on a 1-year contract, right?
I think we gave, I could be wrong, but I think we gave Ramsey a contract when we traded for him. We traded Minka for him and Jonnu Smith, which has looked pretty good. Yeah, Kev, I don't know if you want to fact check me, but I believe we may have given him a contract. I don't believe he's on a 1-year deal. No, a lot of these big name players are not at high risk of like leaving after this year. I mean, honestly, I feel like we only should plan for this year because I don't know if we're gonna get another year of Rodgers or what that looks like.
Right.
But No, it's not something that I'm worried about.
Okay.
Um,
And then while Kevin's looking that up, final question I'll have for you on the Steelers: are we
Mhm.
getting more than a wild card playoffs win this year?
I would I would love a wild card win.
Okay,
I don't even know if that's going to happen. I'm
I
so
got you.
cynical. Like, I know even if we win out for the rest of the season, I just have zero confidence that we'll come out strong in a playoff game under Tomlin and really make any damage. I'm enjoying like the regular season, enjoying Unk,
Hell yeah.
as long as it lasts.
Hell
But
yeah.
I'm
Oh,
not
I love
confident.
that, dude. Hey, Steelers fan base, always respected them. Unless you guys are playing the Eagles. But yeah, no. Well,
Yeah,
Jared, thank you for being on. Me and Kev, let's do our parlays before we get Jared's expert pick. Okay,
Wait,
we
aren't you
got
gonna ask if I have any questions for Jared?
uh. No, okay,
yeah.
yeah, fine. You got any questions for Jared?
Shitty hosting, Tyler. Come
Yeah.
Great
Why
question.
on.
why aren't you coming to my birthday party on Saturday? All right, let's get into
That's a
our
question for both of
parlays.
us. Yeah.
That
Yeah,
is
I
a
know.
question for both of us, but he knows why. I don't like him. So, all right. No.
It's all love. It's all love.
All love. Jared, no, not Jared. Kevin, why don't we get into your parlay for the weekend?
All right. So as you can see here, I went all Big Ten. And to give a little insight into my process when I'm picking the parlays, I go onto DraftKings, look at all the games, but I hide what the line is. And then I kind of just in my head, I'm like, okay, I think Nebraska is I think they can win by like 4 or 5. Then I look, see what the line is. If it doesn't match up with what the line is in DraftKings, then I consider that one for my parlay. And so here we got 3 Big Ten games. Coincidence that they're all Big Ten, but I think Nebraska is going to recover from that loss against Minnesota. I mean, God hope they do, because that is a sad fan base that you can't help but root for. Um, as Mahomes is finding his stride this season, maybe his little brother will as well. So now
Yeah,
we have Illinois. I was surprised there. This is an alt spread, but I believe they're still like a 3 or 4 point underdog to Washington. So
that's
I
it.
think they can. It's on the road. And
Yeah. Okay.
Washington is a tough place to play.
Yeah.
They kept Ohio State in check in the first half, but Illinois. Then, lastly, Minnesota. I don't think they're as good of a team as that beat Nebraska. I think they were playing very well and caught Nebraska sleeping, but
Uh-huh.
it's a road game against Iowa. So even if Iowa wins, I don't think it's going to be a blowout. And that's just Kinnick Stadium for you. So total parlay sitting 286. Then big UFC pay-per-view in Abu Dhabi this Saturday. And I believe the feature bout, so third from the end of the night, Alexander Volkov. He's coming off a robbery loss to Cyril Gahn, who's actually fighting in the main event. I think he uses that energy to propel him to defeat grappling heavy Jailton Almeida. So
All right.
that's my picks for you.
Kev, I don't think I've been following up with you on the UFC stuff as much as I should be. How are we doing with those picks?
3-1. 3-1.
All right.
Way
Well,
better than, yeah.
yeah. What are we doing doing college football? Jesus. No, but I agree with all of those picks except, and I didn't check your parlay before I put my picks on there, but I do have
Oh,
Iowa -8.5. That's a straight up spread at home versus Minnesota. Look, they're going into Connect Stadium. That's all it is. And Iowa has shown that they can hang in there with even the biggest of the boys this year. I personally am coming at it like Minnesota is just a sad program that got some semblance of a victory. Well, not a victory. It was a victory, but they got some semblance of hope last week when they were playing against Nebraska and they beat them. So I think they're going to come back down to earth here. I think that Kirk Ferentz is going to play his old school coaching style, just controlling the game nonstop. Yeah, give me Iowa. Oregon alternate team total over 34.5 at home versus Wisconsin. I mean, Wisconsin's just a dumpster fire, so I might just take the team total over for anybody they're playing for the rest of the season. It's that bad. And then BYU's alternate spread of +6.5 at Iowa State. Kev, I know I'm breaking the rules here because that's one of our marquee games, but I just felt really strongly about this, even though, and we've already seen my pick, spoiler alert, but not really. I'm taking Iowa State. but I'm going to take
Oh, well,
Baylor with some
actually,
points. So
oh,
there's a nice brief period there, or like a little corridor where I'm happy with both these picks. Now, all that together will get you to plus 338. And then for my bonus pick, I got to keep us honest and do a hockey pick since that has started up. And Jared, I didn't mean to go against the Pittsburgh Penguins. No, I didn't even put two and two together.
Pittsburgh
But
Panthers, rather.
yeah, the Florida Panthers, the
Oh.
Pittsburgh Panthers.
Wow.
Aha.
So viewers, don't take Tyler's parlay this week. That's because I will also interject. PJ Fleck, he has some momentum with Minnesota in that Golden Gopher program. You remember they beat the Hokies in the Mayo Bowl last year? The Mayo secret mascot was Flava Flav, and they dapped up at the end of the game as it was revealed. I think there's a little more momentum in this Minnesota team than you think, but continue.
Okay. Now, well, Kev, look, don't take my parlay as probably what everybody should do. As we saw last week, I am not a good gambler. I have established this. I like to watch games and I like to donate my money to DraftKings, okay? That being said, Florida Panthers won last year, the Stanley Cup. And you know what? I'm just going to take that at face value and say they win at home versus Pittsburgh. Give me the total parlay up to 552. Now,
I
let's
actually
get it to
don't know what
somebody
a puck line is. What is a puck line? What's a puck line?
Money line in hockey. That's right.
Because, okay.
Yeah.
They just like to get cute with it. Got it.
Yeah.
I
I
love
like
that.
to get cute with it. All right. Now on to the man who has all the brain cells.
I was gonna say such a good teaser to like hold my pick for the end of your guys' segment or whatever, but my ugly mug, it's my pick is on there. But the people want to hear the story.
And it's
the
been
people wanna
right
hear
every single week.
But
that's
this
a
week we
fact.
get to hear inside the mind of the genius. So go.
The people want to hear the story.
That's right.
Okay, so we're gonna do a Thursday night pick for this game, partially because a lot of the props are not up for Sunday, partially because I actually do like this pick. So the Vikings at the beginning of the season had a pretty vaunted, well-respected defense. Brian Flores is the defensive coordinator there, former assistant for the Steelers, who we let go. But recently, they've been pretty bad. As you'll probably remember, Tyler, against your Eagles this past week, right? They just gave up something like 320 yards, I think, to combine to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, total of like 3 touchdowns.
4. Yeah.
4. Yeah. So they're susceptible, even though they were really respected at the beginning of the season. Yeah.
All right.
Were you going to say anything, Tyler?
Yeah, and you know, Carson Wentz is going to Carson Wentz. It's like I texted you on Sunday. Life, death, taxes, Carson Wentz doing Carson Wentz stuff.
So he's the heir apparent to Peterman. Yeah.
That's right.
And so opposing quarterbacks have recorded 133.9 pass rating against the Vikings on play action this season. Justin Herbert on the Chargers, one of the most successful play action quarterbacks this season. Over 6 touchdowns, 587 yards, with a passer rating of 124.5. So I think the Chargers tomorrow night will open it up, play action, have a lot of passing success on the Vikings. And so my pick is Ladd McConkey. He had 9 targets last week. 15 targets last week, 9 catches for some 60-something yards. And Herbert missed him on a couple of deep bombs. So McConkey's still Herbert's guy. He hasn't had as much success. So all that going into the pick, McConkey's yardage line is pretty low at 55.5. Yeah. If the game goes how I expect, I think he has a pretty good chance to beat them.
Oh, I think he does too. Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. I think, you know, it's funny. The Chargers are one of those teams again this year where they started off good and everybody's like, "Ooh, maybe the Chargers will be good this year. This will be fun." But now it's like they're kind of like, now they're just in the middle of the pack where they always are. So it.
Totally.
Yeah.
They love to self-sabotage. Yeah, everyone was saying at the beginning of the season, like Madison Beer, right, unlocked Justin Herbert for like the first 2 or 3 games. But,
I love that. Oh my God. I love that. All righty. So everybody be sure to follow the one guy who is correct. If you want to be joining me and Kevin and put all these guys together That's plus 69.48 odds. One of these days, statistically, it has to happen. That's just the law of numbers. Kevin's a math guy. He'll tell me I'm right. Right, Kevin? Right. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. So, okay.
You guys are due. It sounds like
We
We're
are
due up.
you're due.
I think collectively we've won one of these parlays on one side throughout the entire 9 weeks. So yeah, we're due. Yeah,
You're
We're due
due.
up.
we're due.
Up
All right.
next, yeah.
As always, thank you everyone for tuning in. Make sure you like and subscribe and comment whatever team you want to see us cover. And thank you so much for watching.
Thanks, guys.
Peace.
Peace.